women who went from a low SX drive to a high SX drive. What happened? I hit my 40s and oh my god. Looking at my wife. In irony minute now. I went through some sort of second puberty. My SX drive isn't super high but had no real interest in SX until I was 24ish. I accidentally triggered a hypermanic episode which led to hypersexuality. And then I got diagnosed with bipolar II. Womp womp. The worst part was my husband had gotten used to my lower SX drive and wasn't necessarily pleased with me trying to jump on his dick 24/7. Stopped birth control then got pregnant. My real hormones are horny. Apparently. Got an IUD after having a baby. Slightly lower SX drive. Got it removed. SX drive through the roof again. All roughly around the same time. My youngest finally stopped waking me up at night. My husband got a vasectomy. Switched into depressants. And I lost weight. I went from high to low then high again with the same husband. I had low SX drive after first kid. Got it back after our second kid was 2. We were still having SX but not often, like once every few weeks, but it wasn't something I was excited about. My husband asked me about it. But he understood, both tired. Kids. Other things etc. We went like this for 3 or 4 years. Then one year I made New Year's resolution. For myself. I mean it might sound weird but I love good statistics. To get 3 digits SX times per year. Meaning to have regular SX minimum 2 times a week. And I stuck to that. I needed to have SX regularly. It reminded me how much I liked it. Was hard to find time first weeks. But then I got into this rhythm and now started 3rd year with actually having SX often and I enjoy it so much. Sometimes even few times per day. My SX drive had always been fairly high. Then life threw me a hell of a curveball and my SX drive amongst other things tanked. I finally dealt with some health issues I had been ignoring for years. Basically got my health back on track and started losing weight. Once the weight started coming off, my SX drive came back. I had a hysterectomy, which resolved my issues with fibroids causing excruciating pain and heavy bleeding. This in turn eliminated the need for birth control. So in short, no pain plus no hormonal contraception equals bo chicka wow wow yeah. Edit. Thank you for the award. I met and fell in love with someone who likes making me orgasm. I no longer feel like I'm not worth the extra effort. Received therapy and counseling to heal from the sexual trauma I endured as a child. Seeking help was the best decision I ever made. I now have a rewarding SX life when I never thought that would be possible before. I realized I had bipolar instead of depression and I switched to a med that worked. I thought that I had a physical issue because I was in my 20s and I no longer wanted to have SX with my partner. The relationship was unhealthy. So we broke things off eventually. When I met the recent man I dated, my SX drive skyrocketed. I forgot that I could feel so sexually attracted to a person. I realized it was never a physical issue. It was a mental emotional one. I like to have SX with someone that pleases me on an emotional level more than anything. So I would have to say that the chemistry and bond I have with a person when no SX is involved would be the biggest factor in what makes me want it and what makes it so great. I met my husband. My husband started treating me with a ton of love and affection outside the bedroom. Finally started having SX with someone that cared about pleasing me. I found erotica novels. Great stories with drama, feuds, struggle, and war. Build up in relationships and good character development. Then high quality SX scenes that aren't catered to men like PRNs. Much more satisfying. Then you keep reading for the story. Only to come across another SX scene and you're suddenly in the mood again. It happened to my wife for some reason. Shortly after I lost about 20 kilos of weight. I don't know if the two events are related. I hit my mid-30s. I finally let go of the insecurities I had regarding sex and gave myself to permission to actually enjoy it. Amazing how your own mindset can either enhance or ruin your experiences. I discovered I could actually orgasm. I mean, my sex drive was never really low. But it wasn't high either. At the start of lockdown last year I bought myself some toys. And for the first time ever at 31, yes, I'm a very late starter, decided to really try masturbation. Well, not only can I orgasm after all, but last month I also discovered I can squirter. Now my sex drive is so high that I'm a little worried if when I date someone they won't be able to keep up with me. I thought I just had a low sex drive until I found a compatible partner. My current partner is very in tune to what I like and how to pleasure me. After I met him, my sex drive skyrocketed. These "I met the right person" comments are amazing. But for me, and I'm sure for a lot of people, it's medication. First it was my birth control. Once I got off it, my sex drive increased. Until I went on an antidepressant. I thought I was broken until I realized that almost all my friends on birth control or an antidepressant felt the same way. Left an abusive religion and realized women were allowed to enjoy sexuality too. I was drunk and be curious and let a bratty lesbian cream puff top me in the back of her car. Turns out I had just been doing it wrong. Switched birth control. Bupropion 450 mg. Just in case people start buying up Wellbutrin to increase their sex drive. Please note that this side effect does not occur for all individuals. In fact, bupropion lowers my sex drive, which is great during a pandemic. But I did have the decreased appetite. I'm almost 30 and I've been having these fantasies about being a stay-at-home wife and mother whose sole duty is to keep up the house, raise kids and my husband's brains out. A year before this I dreamed of travel. Hormonal changes suddenly got me wanting to be a domesticated cumbucket. Domesticated cumbucket. That's very arousing. And scary. At the same time. I found an appropriately sized penis. My ex was a bit too well endowed. Sex could be painful even with lube, foreplay, etc. The red'd often be a tiny bit of blood. Skin tears. Nothing major. I'd mostly enjoy it at the time but could be sore afterwards, and I didn't really realize it could be different. My current partner is smaller though not small. Knows how to use what he's got and is great at foreplay. Because there's no pain soreness, and because he's SI as hell. I'm up for it daily. Broke up with my boyfriend of 5 years, and after that I started to notice a higher sex drive and wanting to please myself more. Finally doing what is right for me and what I want made me more confident, and my self-assurance started to get better. Not my story. My wife's. She has tried every type of contraception available, and while on each of them she had literally zero sex drive. She came off it to try for a baby and HOLYSHIT. I can't keep up. She wants it more than once a day and I just don't have that in me, lol. After so many years of very little to no sex. I suffer from anxiety and was starting to feel depressed after my brother passed away. My puppy helped me get past all of it, and then a voiler sex drive magically appeared. Boyfriend is very happy. NGL thought you had the dog. That first sentence made me a little nervous. Recovered from my eating disorder, mayo. Crazy what a little bit of body confidence will do for you. Finally realized I'm a lesbian. I went the opposite way. For my girlfriend it's apparently me being gone. Not in the way she cheats, hopefully. But because of our current situation we spend multiple months apart at a time. When we're together for an extended period. Like we were for the past 4 months. Our sex drive drops off and it could go to the point where we don't have sex for about a month. Then I'll leave and her sex drive goes through the roof and she starts wishing that I would come home. Or that we would have had prior to me leaving. And all that. So yeah, apparently distance is the greatest aphrodisiac, or she secretly hates me. I guess the wanting what you can't have. This sounds. If you want more information on this topic, I highly recommend the book Come As You Are by Emily Nagoski. A nice neckbeard and a fedora talked to me about how women are actually on top of society, and I came. Always nice to find posts full of PPL who had SX. Such rarity on Reddit. This is an easy one. Find the love of your life who communicates about SX. Cares about your feelings. Cares about your needs. And loves you for you. My SX drive before my current boyfriend was horrible because all I've had were selfish partners who belittled me to the point where SX was a chore rather than an enjoyable thing. I had no interest in SX up until I rekindled with my old high school friend. Now I'm horny and crave my BF all the time. The amount of passion and intimacy that goes along with the SX has made me orgasm so hard that I felt like I was sent to other dimensions. It's an overwhelming feeling and I can't get enough. Edit. When I said this is an easy one. Find the love of your life, I tried to say that this particular question is easy for Emmy to answer since I already have my one and only. I know it's not easy to find your soulmate. Trust me, I had to go through life with dating scumbags and not knowing my own worth. They are out there and once you find them you'll know. It. Left the Mormon church and all of its toxicity and shame behind me. Dumped an ex who had poor hygiene. Poor health, he overeats. Not a health condition. Emotionally abusive and ultimately poor personality. Met someone much better in every regard and can't get enough of him. I found out I was a masochist and a sadist. Broke up with the boyfriend I wasn't meant to be with. Got together with my now boyfriend. Years in and it's still exciting and wonderful. A lot of it has to do with it being a much healthier relationship. A few things. 1. I left my ex that I was better off friends with, so looking back we didn't even have romantic chemistry. Let alone SZL. 2. In 2019 I had a wild week in Las Vegas and I realized that I do have a decent SX drive. 3. I met my current boyfriend who I not only have all the love in the world for but I also feel comfortable and safe with. And boy, that's the biggest turn on. Changed my birth control. Speaking on behalf of my wife. She came off the pill. The pill ruins women's hormones. And have you ever read the list of possible side effects? That list is huge. I prefer to take the frustration of wearing a condom than worry about her having any of those issues. Doing that itself had the very pleasant outcome of increasing her SX drive. Had twin babies via C-section. I solo orgasmed about 12 hours after their birth and since then I need SX almost daily. Also a women's SZL peak is in their 30s, so that might account for something. Plus the older I've gotten, the more body and mind confident I've become. So that might be a thing too. Kicked my lying. Abusive. Alcoholic now ex-husband out. Instant aphrodisiac. I got a divorce. I quit hormonal birth control. What also helps is not drinking alcohol. SX is better without it. And eventually you'll want more of it because of that. Got pregnant. Those sweet hormones. I changed my batteries.